Hi, Sharks. My name is Dawn Myers. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm asking for
Be more
$150,000
stand
for
up.
10% of my company. Okay, guys, as you can see, I have a head full
1.5
of
million.
crazy curls, but unlike Beyonce, and I saw you at that concert, I do not wake up like this, okay? For me, it takes about 3 hours to do my hair.
That's
You heard that
crazy.
right.
Wow.
For people with highly textured hair, it's beautiful, but it's complicated. It takes forever, it makes travel impossible, and it takes all of this to get the job done. But not anymore. That's why I developed the Mint, a patented 3-in-1 styling system that makes the process of styling curly hair faster, easier, and healthier than ever. This is how it works. You simply load your pod, think of them as coffee pods, except for your styling products, and you let the mint gently warm and condition your products. That's where the magic happens. Then you streamline the process of detangling and applying your liquid products to get the easiest, fastest, most juicy curls of your life. Sharks. This isn't just about beauty. We're solving a deep pain point in the lives of 50 million Americans, and we plan on making a lot of money while we do it. So, Sharks, who's ready to create a world where curls and kinks are catered to with the Mint?
Fantastic.
We are back with another Shark Tank breakdown episode. I'm your host, Dave, and this is an interesting one. Now, hey, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. The three things that I look for when I'm going through and breaking down these pitches is how simple is it? How simple is the technology or the product? How effective is it? And what's the market like? So these are the three things that I try to keep in mind when I'm going through this stuff. This is actually an interesting one because this week on my YouTube channel, Investing in Intellectual Property with Dave, which you're probably watching this on, the interview drops with New Dread, and I'm not sure all of those people who have textured hair. So textured hair, just kind of back it up a little bit. That's pretty much black hair. That's another name for black hair, textured hair. So when you say textured hair, think of, I guess, minorities, black people, African Americans. Our hair is textured. Now, the interesting thing is New Dread, the gentleman or the I guess the dynamic couple who founded the New Dread. It was the hair sponge. It curls your hair in, I think it was like 15 minutes or five minutes or so, 5 to 15 minutes. I forget what it was, but that episode drops this week on Investing in Intellectual Property with Dave. So subscribe if you haven't already to get notified, and hit the notification button to make sure you get notified when that interview officially drops. Again, that was a pretty interesting one because, again, on that interview, the co-founder, Bruce Boyd, he kind of talked about how he developed, him and his partner developed New Dread, which is the hair sponge. They got a patent on it, and that thing sold like crazy in the early 2000s. The patent is still, I think that patent actually expires this year, so it went the full 20-year duration, which a lot of patents don't do it. So that tells you how much money that they were making on this thing. And again, it's that hair sponge that you can kind of twist your hair up and it curls it and twist it in literally 5 to 15 minutes. Now, she said 3 hours to do her hair, and her hair actually looked pretty good. So I'm not going to knock that. Her hair looked amazing. There's no way I would imagine for women, it does take around that time to do their hair. Hey, for a haircut, 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes tops, and I'm good with that. But I couldn't imagine spending 3 hours doing my hair. That's like half of a shift. That's like part-time. But again, she has this new technology, which she said is patent pending. And if you all know, as an almost 10-year intellectual property attorney dealing with patents and trademarks and pretty much everything intellectual property, I love to hear that. We will check out the website to see how that looks at the end of the pitch. But again, before we get back to it, just keep in mind how simple is the product. She really didn't. She talked about it a little bit, and it was a pretty interesting product how it works. But as we get off into it and the sharks start answering questions, I'm pretty sure we'll see how simple it is to use. Simple is always better. How effective is it? Again, if she used the product on her hair, which I'm imagining she did, her hair looks amazing. So it seems like it's, I guess, leaning towards effectiveness. And then the market, we know, as she said, 50 million Americans, which have textured hair, and you're trying to essentially 50 million African Americans, you can pretty much say, have textured hair, and we are big spenders. So I would imagine that she would be able to, if her product is effective and simple, to use, she would be able to capture a large portion of that market. So let's keep in mind, I guess, the prices and some of the other things that the sharks, I'm sure, will be answering questions. So let's get back to it and see what they have to say.
Thank you.
So I have curly hair, not that you've noticed it.
I
It
know.
took me exactly 6 hours to get ready for this.
That's right.
But it's the same thing. So you're going to say that this can work on any hair texture.
That's right. So
imaginable.
I very specifically designed this to work on 4C hair. That customer is super underserved. They spend the most money in the market. They're
Yes,
the
they do.
trendsetters in the market, right? So I wanted to
Not
make
sure
sure
what
that
4C
they had a product
hair
that
is.
worked for them. However, what we've seen is that people with looser curls can benefit from this technology as well.
Emma,
In
what's
addition-
4C hair?
Yeah, I
So
don't wanna know
4C hair is when you've got like the most like curl, like the most course hair texture, right? So it's like the super curly
Why don't
hair.
you
But
just
what
say
you're
black
saying
people,
is it's
African
actually going to
American?
like pull the curls out. Right?
Yeah.
It's just that it's a styling tool.
That's right.
And just to be clear, the
Yes.
product that's going in the pod currently you don't sell. What you're selling is the tool
That's right.
with an empty pod, and then I'm putting my own product.
That's
Correct.
exactly
Got it.
right.
All right. I just want to be clear.
Can I buy multiple serum cartridges from you?
You can. And in addition to that, we're also in talks with
I
major
love her energy,
strategics
man.
about co-branding
speaker.
those pods with their
Like his marketing.
products.
How much did you sell it for, Don?
We sell it currently for $400.
That's
I know.
crazy.
Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. I'm ready.
I'm
I'm ready
not sure if I'll
for it.
spend
Show
You
$400
are
for that.
Dyson prices. What
What does
is
it cost
happening
to
here?
make it?
So there's a story here.
I
So
bet.
there's
I bet
what
there
we're
is.
It's
doing
a hell of
now.
a story.
Right now,
$400?
we're charging $400 because we had such a small batch of products. Obviously, our cogs were
How many
huge.
was it?
It was 100 units.
Oh, well,
wow.
that's nothing.
Right. So it was really difficult for us to do.
What does it cost you to make just 100 units?
So to do 100 units, it was $120 per unit. But
a
now
lot.
we've got a handle on assembly. So we've got another batch in China right now that's on its way here. For that batch, we're looking at a $60 landed cost.
Oh, nice.
Why?
You've
because
got
we're
that
able
down.
to
So
offshore
are you going to
the
keep the
assembly.
price at $399?
No.
But
So we're-
wait, you said you've sold out, right?
yes.
So if you're only getting them in relatively small batches, why would you not keep the price?
That's a really good question.
course
So
it is.
we want to focus on this pod, right? The real seller of this
No, I
business
know, but it's
model.
still a limited number. So I get the more of these you sell, the more pods you sell.
Yeah.
But how much does a pod sell for?
We're selling them in batches of 6 on a subscription basis. They're $6 a piece and $36 per month. As you guys know, hardware
Wow,
is
that's
hard. It's
interesting.
really expensive. It took us $1 million to build and test and prototype and
$1
test.
million
and find
dollars?
this. Yes.
Oh, talk
Oh,
to
I
us
Crazy.
could
about that.
absolutely see it. How did you get that money?
Oh, what a question. Can I tell
That's
you the whole
crazy.
story,
Yes,
please?
please.
Please do.
Okay, so I do not come from a beauty or an engineering or a manufacturing background at all. I'm a lawyer by training, but
I want to stop the video for a second because I love what she just said. She doesn't have a background in engineering or beauty in the beauty industry, and she still was able to develop this. Now I'm interested in seeing how she came up with $1 million. And I would imagine that she would have had to give away a decent portion of the company just on my guess. But she's just like me. She's an attorney by trade. Now I have my engineering degree as a patent attorney, and therefore I have to have an engineering and a law degree. So I do have my mechanical engineering degree degree. So as you can see on the wall here, so I do have some type of engineering background, design background. But she is a lawyer by trade, and this is what I love about just the USPTO, the patent law system here in the US. Anybody can participate. You can be. I've seen people who lay brick for a living as a masonry and go on and develop something and make hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars on their product. You don't have to have an engineering background, a technical background. You don't even have to be an expert in the industry that you're looking to get off into, at least at the start. As you go through your process, go through your adventure, go through your journey, you're going to learn more and more about what it is that you're trying to do. You're going to surround yourself with the right people, and voila, you're going to be that much more knowledgeable about the industry that you're trying to get into, and therefore getting into it is going to be a lot easier. That's crazy. She doesn't have any expertise in the beauty industry. She's not an engineer by trade based on her story or her telling. She is a lawyer and to still come up with a product. That's crazy that it costs $1 million to test it and develop it and whatnot. But the fact that she got in this thing with relatively no experience, this, ladies and gentlemen, is an American dream. So let's get back into it and see, I guess, about this $1 million, because that sounds crazy to develop this thing for $1 million. So let's see the backstory behind that.
hair has always been an issue. So when I was a little girl, My mom is Black, but my stepmom wasn't. And so when I would, leave to go to my dad's for the
dad got
summer
him,
holiday, I would leave the house
exotic.
looking great. And then I would go over to my dad's house and he didn't know how to do my hair and his wife didn't know how to do my hair. And so I would just have like a ball of fluff on my head for the rest of the summer. What people sometimes don't understand is that this hair issue is really, really emotional for this consumer, right? It affects our confidence.
Right.
It affects how we walk in the world, right? Fast forward.
And I will let me break it back on me for a quick second. I tell people all the time, just even as a Black man, I say the Black, and you can see I'm kind of scruffed up right now, unfortunately. And I will be visiting my barber this week. So shout out to Holly Barber. That's the name of my barber, Holly Barber. I'll be checking them out today in the Detroit metro area, or next week, this upcoming week in the Detroit metro area. But I always tell people the hallmark of a Black man is his haircut, specifically his lineup. To the extent that you have hair, and thankfully in my 30s I still have hair, the hallmark of a Black man is his haircut and particularly his lineup. And just having that done, man, the confidence that you exude, the confidence that you have walking into the world, walking into the workplace, walking into wherever you're going, is through the roof. So I do agree with her on that. And I would imagine with women, it's the same way. Once you just got your hair did, man, the confidence that you have at that point, I would imagine is amazing, because as a Black man, speaking for myself and other Black men who I know this to be true, again, when you get that fresh haircut, man, there's nothing like it. So I would agree with her with that you do get confidence from getting your hair done, particularly in the Black community. So let's get back to it and kind of hear her, what she has to say.
To 2017, guess what I'm watching? Shark Tank. And it's the episode with Tara Brown and the sleep styler.
Sleep styler, yes.
And so what I said is, what if I build something for this pain point that I know nobody is serving? Put together this really rudimentary prototype. And I started applying to accelerators and incubators and pitch competitions. Everybody who I went to said, there's no way that you can make this. Regular people don't make tech-enabled hardware.
Mr.
I got
Warner,
so
Freelight,
many
man.
no's, so many no's. And it's taken
So
5 years to build this product. I ended up selling my home. I eventually would liquidate my 401k so that we could build
That's
this
how you got
product.
the
You're
million.
all in.
It's
And
all
I am all the
Do
way
you
in.
own the business 100%?
I do not. We raised $1 million in venture backed
Oh, you said it
funding.
cost
And
$1
Don,
million
how much
to
did
make.
you sell in equity for the million?
Yeah, so we have convertible notes. Once those notes convert, I will still have 72% of the company.
Good for you.
Okay, that's pretty
Wow.
good.
You're
$1 million.
You're a
amazing.
dynamo.
Let's talk
Yeah,
about the
that's-
business.
Yes.
You're
legit.
planning to sell them for what?
So with this smaller cogs, with $60 cogs, we're planning on selling at $200 per.
Okay, that's
Why
decent. That's better.
$200 when you were getting didn't you test?
Yes, but we want to rope people into this pod
No, you
subscription.
don't. Not when you make that much money.
Yeah?
Right. It's not like a $10 difference.
Mhm.
That's cash in pocket.
This is really helpful. Thank you.
Don, I think you're going to figure out what you're going to sell it for pretty quickly. You got to get a lot more units.
Yeah.
I think you need a shark with hair on this deal. So,
Basically.
I'm going to do the graceful thing and bow out, but I have a feeling that this might work out for you today.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Don, you're a phenomenal entrepreneur, but it's really not my space.
Sure.
I
I saw that from the
I just
beginning.
don't know a lot about the product. Thank you for teaching me about it.
I think
but
she's
I'm
going to
out.
do a deal, I think, with Emma or Lori.
Well, you are so impressive.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, honestly, you are. I have one major challenge for me. I am in the midst of working on a type of device for hair, which I am concerned would be a conflict of interest
No.
if I go to this.
Huh.
For those reasons, I'm out, but I will be watching.
Ooh,
Thank
more
you.
encouragement, but no money.
So, I know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a conflict.
It's
If I
okay.
didn't,
Wow.
I'd be in.
Dawn, so just talk me through this for a second. I
think
just
Emma,
need
she's,
to hear what is the plan for this business, because you've only sold 50 units.
That's right. So we're early stage, but we're early stage and we're sitting across the table from Procter & Gamble and L'Oreal right
Nice.
now. We're
What are
supposed to
those
be
conversations?
Yeah, so they want to do a strategic partnership where we co-brand these pods.
So the model here is that you're going to have this piece of hardware,
Yes.
and you will sell a co-branded product-based pod that is going to be the insert into
That's
it.
right.
So we would come onto your site, I'd buy the piece of hardware, and then I'd be like, oh, I use X, Y, and Z product. I'll do that,
Huh,
that, or
That's
that.
interesting.
Exactly.
It's a revenue share,
That's
fundamentally.
right. That's exactly
Right.
right.
It's also a bloody distraction, and that's the bit that's getting me right now.
Mm.
I just want to be really honest with you,
Please.
because I actually see the need for this product. When you've got curly hair, you are so specific. When I do my curly hair, I use 5 different products in, a bit for the ends, a bit for the middle, something for the roots. I'm
Yeah.
turning over, and then I have my stage 1 and my stage 2. It's just a whole
Wow.
drama arena, right?
Yeah.
And I just think with something like this should be what you're talking about. Like
Yeah.
to
Okay.
do the other thing, like maybe in 5, 6, 7
Yeah,
years
I
time,
agree
but
with
you
her.
need to get out there, establish that
Tell them
this
boys.
is the
The thing.
thing for curly hair.
Period, end
And
of
then
story.
we can talk about all of
Period.
the other stuff. I just don't feel like you should muddy the waters at this early
That's
stage.
100%.
really good feedback. That's
And-
really
and
good
I
feedback.
get how
Thank you.
other investors will tell you, you want renewable revenue. Boy, but you sell these pods and you have an ongoing subscription revenue stream, and that's all marked. No. When you are disrupting an industry, focus on the disruption.
Yeah.
Because then you hope somebody comes to you and says, let us pre-fill them and sell them for you.
So much great advice. Is there an offer coming?
I think we should make an offer.
All right.
Nice. Sweet. Let's get to it. Let's
His
get
last
to it.
chances for a deal for her hairstyling tool company, Richaulist.
I'd really like to give you an offer because I just think you're so spectacular, and I
think
just
she is.
understand this.
She's
Like
an
I
animal.
know
She's
that
a
I will
dog
go
in a good
home
way.
and use this product.
Me too.
It's like I completely get it. As does Mark. We've been discussing it over here.
It does.
So you asked for 150,000 for
1.5
10%.
million
yes.
valuation.
And I
That's
think that we would
pennies.
be willing to offer you that 150,000, but we need 20% of the
Ooh.
business.
Wow.
Get it.
But you
Hi.
get 2 sharks.
Come back at 15, settle on 17 and a
God.
half.
Oh my
Come back at
gosh.
15,
Well,
settle
what do
back
you
on
say?
17 and a half. That's what I would do.
I'm just saying.
Come back
Thank
at
you.
15,
In the
150.
spirit of protecting my investors, we have investors at an $8 million cap, and I came into the tank.
There's a difference between a
severely.
silent investor that's just writing you a check
Yeah, somebody who
and
give you
somebody
advice.
who's probably already saved you a lot of money, a
Yep.
lot of effort. But it's your choice to make.
It is my choice to make.
Well, do you have any flexibility?
I'm not feeling that flexible.
You're not feeling that.
I'm not, I tell you
flexible.
why,
Maybe come
because
back at
I just
15%,
know what
they
is
gonna
happening
settle
with
at
this
17 and
business.
a
And
half.
you are going to have to go out, raise more cash. We're going to be diluted. And I feel like the value, I mean, it's sitting right here in front of you.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
My friends, in the interest of doing my best to protect my investors, would you be willing to do 15%?
Settle at
So we can
17
do
and
the
a
extra
half.
5 as advisory shares.
That works, Mark.
20%.
It seems they don't have any flexibility.
I am going to make this deal.
Obviously, I'm making this deal.
Yes, of course.
Good for her, man. Good for her. And let me bring it back on myself. We're going to look at her website and see what she has going on. But I don't look at this stuff ahead of time. So you're getting my real, live, authentic reaction. I don't look at these websites. These episodes ahead of time. So, what you get from me is my real time thoughts of it. I think that she could have probably came back to 17.5% and they may would have done a deal on it. But I think Dawn is a rock star. I'm going to try to get her on my platform and interview her. I think she's a rock star. I think when you're dealing with business partners, you want people who are all in. It seems like she's all in on this thing. So that's a great thing. And I agree with Mark and Emma that, man, you want to focus on the device, focus on the product that you have a patent on. Just think about that. You get a patent on this thing. You spend all this money, thousands of dollars, maybe in a realm of tens of thousands of dollars to get a patent on something. And then you want to do the subscription because people are telling you that's going to get the passive revenue or the revenue that's going to continue to come in month after month. And it's like, man, I love their advice. Hey, focus on the thing that's going to disrupt the industry. I can see this thing, especially for $200 for Black people, Black women, and people who have textured hair. Man, I can see this thing selling like hotcakes for $200. And like Emma said, obviously me as a man, I don't use kind of 2, 3, 4 products in my hair, but women, they're using all type of products and have these pods in addition with the actual device to be able to kind of switch out your different products. I can see this thing taking off. So I think she had a great partner, particularly in Emma. And I think Mark is going to give her, especially that business of, hey, man, focus on this, don't focus on that. So I think she landed a pretty good partnership, 100,000, 150,000 for 20%. I think ultimately she's going to make a lot of money with this thing. So let me try to pull up the website here and see what she has going on. Now, I'm not sure if you guys peeped it out, but the Richaulist, and okay, it's right here as well on the website. So let me go here. You can see the Richaulist, which I think is a cool name. You see it has a TM right there. So what that means is she at least it doesn't appear that she has a registered trademark. That's why if you had a registered trademark, you would just use the R in a circle, add the R in a circle at the end of the mark. When you use a TM, that means you're using it in a trademark sense. However, you don't have a registered trademark yet. So I'm glad that she does, because we haven't seen much of many people do this where they actually use a TM to say, okay, hey, I don't have a registered trademark yet. However, I am still using this in a trademark sense. So I love the fact that she's doing that. And also here, again, she talked about it on when she was pitching to the Sharks, introducing a new patented technology for textured hair. So she's telling you, hey, I have a patent on it. I think this device is going to turn some heads, especially if it's an effective way to do things. Talking about some of the advantages here. Let's scroll down to the bottom. She talked about earlier that it's a patented technology. Man, as a patent attorney, I would love for her to actually put the patent number on there. So you're telling people, hey, this patented, but you're giving them the patent number. Hey, man, this is legit. I'm not just blowing smoke up your guys' rear end, but this is legit. But I actually like her website. Like I said, I would probably put somewhere at the bottom where you typically see it. The fact that it is, I would put the actual patent number, but at least she has at the top that it's a patented technology, so people know that it's a patent on this thing. So that's cool. So again, bringing it back to me as I'm kind of closing out. So it seems like it's pretty simple to use. I love the actual pod ideas, and I think later on the line, as Mark and Emma talked about, you can kind of have the pods be a subscription model or something down the line, but focus on the main thing, keep the main thing the main thing at that point. The effectiveness of it, that's the thing that, as she sell more and get more feedback, that's going to be the make or break thing with this thing, because I think the market is big. Black women particularly, even black men who are going to use something similar to like this, who have longer hair. It's a huge market for it. And like I said before at the beginning, black people, their hair is a thing of confidence, especially when it's done. So to the extent that this thing is effective, it seems like it's very simple to use and the market is there. So if it's effective, she can have a winner on her hand. I think Emma picked up on it. Mark picked up on it. So good for her. I think Lori would have been there. She seems like she has a conflict of interest. So, she had to back out. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think this is going to be a winner? Do you think she has some struggles? Do you think that Mark and Emma gave her good advice to focus on the main thing and not so much the pods with the subscription thing? What do you guys think? I think that can be something that she thinks about in 4 or 5 years as she's kind of trying to get a new stream or new revenue source. Maybe Procter & Gamble buys it by then. I'll be interested in that, because it's a gentleman I know who is big in the hair. I don't know him personally, but I know somebody who knows him personally, and he's big in the hair and beauty industry. He has billion-dollar deals that he has done personally with Procter & Gamble. So it'll be interesting to see if she's working on or working with him with Procter & Gamble. But man, good for her, Don. I am going to try to get her on the platform to interview her. I think her product is, man, this thing could be a winner. But as I said here, man, this was a good first one, because she's an attorney and she's like, I'm going all in on this thing. I'm selling my house. I'm draining out my 401k. I'm literally going to raise $1 million for only 28% of the company, which is crazy. And I'm going to educate myself on, hair and the actual technology of the device. And I'm assuming that she went through multiple iterations of this thing before she landed on something that she felt comfortable selling to the masses. I'm gonna keep a lookout on for the product, because I think this thing is going to do numbers. So until next time, until the next pitch, I'll see you later. Take care.